Well, here we are again. I think this is our fourth Friday with Bill Rogers. Bill, good to see you again. Thanks for hanging around and having some extended conversation about this faith journey the Lord's had you on.
Yeah, good to be with you, Dennis, again. Thanks.
Yeah, look, I look forward to this section a lot. Just, off camera, I've had the privilege of talking to you a great deal about various highs and lows. And, one of the things I noticed, I went back just for fun before recording this, and I had forgotten you came within a whisker. I think you finished second in the 81 US Open behind David Graham. You then go on in 81 to win the Open, the Australian Open. You had 4 victories that year. You were the player of the year in 81. I don't lightning, maybe catching lightning in a bottle. What a year, 81. But then I think maybe sometimes people forget, just because life goes on, you were tied for the lead or in the lead in the 82 US Open at Pebble Beach. And that was when Tom had the famous chip in on 17 and all that. But my goodness, if you had pushed on through and won that, you would have been the national champion of Australia, Great Britain, or the World Open, and then the US Open. My goodness, what a span of 12 months.
Well, it was pretty special. You show up and you just don't know what might happen. But I was riding a high. I'd have to, if I might speak a little bit to the 82 US Open, but the first tournament in 1982, which I'm coming off a year in 1981 that I still, if I reflect back, can't hardly believe that everything that happened that year was magical. And boy, you'd like to kind of bottle it and keep it, but that's not the way the game works. But I'll never forget teeing the ball up on Thursday morning. My world as a tour player had changed, by the way. There were new responsibilities, obligations, that come with having a year like 1981. But I'll never forget when I finally got to my morning tee time, Phoenix Open, Thursday morning, teeing my ball up, I tee it up, and announced as the Open champion from 1981. And I get behind my ball and I'm looking down the fairway, not a terribly difficult tee shot, and this incredible, whatever you might call it, weight or just the shroud of emotion came over me as I looked down the fairway preparing to hit my shot and said, "You've got to do this again. You got to validate what you did last year." And man, that was an emotion that stuck with me for really several months at the beginning of 1982. Gosh, I as we just strap on all this unfair, having to, perform again and please everybody and validate that it wasn't just a flash in the pan, but that was part of this whole story of mine. But it was a weird feeling, and be that as it may, I was a little awkward for the first few months. But we arrived in early summer, the U.S. Open 1982 at Pebble Beach, and I would say on the front end, the best man won that week. Tom and I were tied, teeing it up on Sunday, and I was actually leading the championship through 9 holes that last day, and really somehow completely unaware that Nicklaus was doing some heroics in front of us. And he was a factor now. And anyway, not to get into the minutia of the day, the best player won that day, and obviously everybody can remember the chip in, arguably the most viewed golf shot in golf. They show it all the time. I wish I was paid a royalty for being a part of the audience that day, of which I'd become, because I couldn't win at that point. But it was a pretty special day in my career, and I look back on it as very meaningful. And heck, I glad to be a part of the conversation in the U.S. Open. I had great a success in US Opens, and I wanted one so bad. I had 4 of them that I was kind of a part of, had chances, but I wanted the US Open so bad. But anyway, it's all good.
Well, for the rest of us mortals out here who spend our life watching you guys get in contention like that, okay, so maybe you never got to be number 1 at a US Open, but being second, these days, people, especially Americans, we forget we like those champions, but finishing second in the US Open, my goodness, and having come so close so many times, I'm sure there's maybe a little disappointment for you, but what memories?
I often look back, and I think as we look at maybe from a faith perspective, God's perspective, well, maybe thank you, Lord, for maybe not seeing me through that last day. I probably couldn't have handled an Open Championship and a U.S. Open. That might have been too much for I ushered out pretty quick anyway after having the year 1981, 1988. I was gone from competitive golf, but had a US Open been thrown in there, no telling. So it's all meaningful every step along the way, and I see it for what it was and cherish every moment that I was able to experience as a tour player.
What a story. Well, Bill, thanks for being with us again on this 4th episode. We'll come back next Friday and talk about a few other things. So to our Links family and friends, again, thank you for being with us. I hope you've enjoyed this time and been enriched by it. We'll see you next Friday.